Okay, well, I mean, something's a little amiss, not quite sure what that is. And let's see what's going on here. We're going to go to the browser, I guess. Is that browser? And double check to see everything is fine. This going on and off, on and off, on and off. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's take a look at these here. Um, this is a review of what we did yesterday. Is that true? You guys remember? Let me see here. Since I'm in the iPad, I might be able to um, do something here. I hope. Yeah. See if my iPad is really online. Yeah, that's the problem. It's not connected. Let me connect the iPad to the internet, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as I can. Settings, and I think that'll help. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right, so we're logging in, and we're going to be able to take a look at this file. I want to do it a certain way. Okay, I'm logged in now. Okay, I guess not. So we have to go to. Okay. All right, so let's also make sure we wake up the TI this morning. We got to get that TI nice and awake. Okay. All right, so here we are back at the iPad, just what I was trying to do. Now, notice this. We have a bunch of data. This is the kind of stuff we did yesterday. We're going to enter this data into our TI. Is that right? So, okay, so we're going to put this in L1. So we have to go through that procedure. Let's see if you guys can remember that procedure. TI, here we go. Procedure. Okay, we go to Stat, Edit, and number 1 is an edit, right? So we're going to enter this. It's already empty. So I'm going to enter these values. The first one is what? 4. Okay, and then what? 0. So just carefully enter them. 6. 4. What else? 8. Okay. After that we have what? 2. 3. 5. 2, 3, 5. And then another, how many? 2 5s, right? 2 more 5s. Thank you so much. And then we have an 8, and then we have a 7. Is that true? Then we have a what? 4, 0. 4, 0, 2, 1, 3, 4, 6. 3, 4, 6. Another 6. Then a 9. So I got 6, 9, and then I have a what? 8, 0. 8, 0, 2, 1, 0. 2, 1, 0. 9, 4, 5, followed by an 8. Okay? And so let's take a look at this, and I just kind of want to notate for you guys here. We just entered all this here. This is waiting for the 31st data value. So it looks like there were 30 data values there. Is that true? Okay, you guys know what I'm saying? There's those data values. Okay, so what do you think we do now? Do you guys remember what we do? You're going to go back to Stat and Calculate. Is that true? One variable stats. So you go back Stat, scroll to Calculate. It's there, and it's already on one variable stat. So hit Enter. Yes, list 1, we're talking about that. Then we're going to calculate, and ladies and gentlemen, we got all the information we need. A lot of nice information. Is that true? Okay. So if I go to my sheet here, we want the 5-number summary. So maybe what I'll do is I'll kind of just write this down here. 5. Let's go to the iPad. I know this is not working for me today. Stream Deck. Oh no, Stream Deck just seems to be not with us today. Okay, so we're going to go to the iPad. 5-number summary. Do you guys remember the definition? What was the definition? Right? Without the definition, you're not given an answer, is it? Minimum. First quartile. What else? Second quartile, which is the median. Good. Third quartile, and then the what? Maximum value. Here's your 5-number summary. So remember, without your definition, you're never going to answer a question. It just doesn't work that way. So what do you think is a good idea to do? Yeah, memorize it. And you say, well, I don't know how to memorize, Mr. Judge. And I'll say, well, yes, you do. Just do what? Every time you use it, you what? Write it down. But that means you have to use it then. That's the problem, right? Yeah, that's the same as the median. Yeah. Question is this the median, the med? Yes, it is. So, okay, so today I'm going to see what we can do with this. TI, where are you, TI? Scroll in. Okay, so what do we want to say? I think I just scroll down and I get everything here. Okay, so the minimum is what? 0. Okay, first quartile is what? 2. What's the 4? Median is Q2. What's Q3? 6. And then what's the maximum? 9. So it's all there. So let's double check here just to let you guys know. The minimum value is 0. Q1, Q2, Q3, and then a 9 here. So here's your 5-number summary. Now, the next question is like to draw a box plot, right? And there's some details about this box plot. I'm going to go out to the graph paper and change this to graph paper here. Now, the reason I change it to graph paper is because if you look at the 5-number summary here, you want these lines to be equally spaced. Okay, you want them to be equally spaced. So I need vertical lines, and you always start with the minimum. Work left to right. So you say, what's the minimum value here? That's 0. Is that right? But I need this to be kind of equally spaced. So this would be where 1 would be. And then here's 2, 3, 4, okay? So I'm going to label the quartiles, 5 and 6. And I got 7, 8, and 9. And here's another line for 9. So for all of these values that we found, we're going to put these vertical lines, okay? And then we're going to connect this with a what? Horizontal line from the minimum to the what? To the maximum, going by that unit length, okay? And they're all equal length. Now, what was the 2, 4, and the 6? It's kind of interesting. Those are the quartiles, is that right? So what you'll do is you connect the quartiles really with a, and you might want to go up higher or something. You create a box. And what you're seeing is what's known as a box plot, okay? Now, you might say, what's so amazing about a box plot? Well, it has information. You know, it's kind of like a picture here. What kind of information do we know since these are quartiles? You guys remember? This is kind of the key. It describes the distribution, yes, but from 0 to 2, that's supposed to be what? 25%. Is that right? And then from what? 2 to 4 is another what? So this is kind of like a picture of the distribution. 25% from 4 to 6 of the data here. 25% of the data there. And then the last portion here from 6 to 9. Let me see if I can. From 6 to 9 is the last 25%. Is that true? Okay, good. So altogether we have a box plot here. So it looks like the data's kind of, most of the data maybe might be in the center. Is that true? Since the median is here, but it's slightly slanted to the left, which means it could be normal to what's called right skew. Anyway, let's take a look at this. So here's your box plot. Now, if I go back and I say, okay, let's go back and look at some of those questions that were on that worksheet in the browser, or even in this other page here, right? We did 1 and 2. We did the 5-number summary, and that helps us draw the box plot. Now, we have we have like 3 definitions here. What's the first definition? So number 3, the interquartile range, by the way. IQR. Do you guys remember what that was?
Q3 minus Q1.
Yeah, it's Q3 minus Q1, or we can simply say it's going to be, what, 6 minus 2. Okay? And so that's going to equal what? 4. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the answer to that question. It's number 3. So, if we had to number it, we said, okay, here's number 1 in that worksheet. Here's number 2 in the worksheet. And then finally, we have number 3. What's question number 4, ladies and gentlemen? MQR, what was that? Yeah, mid-quartile range. Now we add the numbers and divide by 2. And so we get 6 plus 2 is 8, divided by 2, that's also what? 4. Okay. All right, good. And then the last one for those definitions that we had yesterday, right? What was it? Do you guys remember? It's a semi-quartile range, SQR, which is Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. So if you said, hey, I thought it was helpful to write down the definitions. Okay. Q3 minus what? Q1. You can say Q1 plus Q3 divided by 2, or Q3 plus Q1 divided by 2. And then this is simply going to be Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2 here. Okay? And so 4 over 2 gives you what? I think it's 4 over 2. Yeah. 4 divided by 2 is in fact 2. So ladies and gentlemen, we are just simply doing a quick kind of review of those definitions we ended with yesterday. And I created a worksheet this morning for you guys to review that. Tossed it in there in the homework assignment question to give you some more practice, because practice makes what? Perfect, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be perfect here. So there you go, box plot, there you go. Now, I didn't talk about this yesterday, which I want to talk about today. That's why it's always good to review and give something new. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Is that right? Don't know where I heard any of that stuff. Okay. So what's question 6? Browser, what does 6 say? Determine the hours of sleep in the middle 50% of students. Because remember, the data represents the night, the number of hours students get the night before a test. So what do you think they mean by the middle 50%? They want to know the hours of sleep for the middle 50%. What do you think that means? If I go back here, what do you think that middle 50% would be? See this here? They're talking the middle 50%, 25 and 25. So what does that mean? That middle 50%, students get between how many hours of sleep? Between 2 and 6. So you're saying they get really between what? 2 and 6 hours. That's the middle 50%. That's just reading a box plot, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So they want you to just learn how to read a box plot. Okay, between 2 and 6 hours. That's the middle 50%. Now, let's continue here and see what else they're talking about. What was the next question? I know my Stream Deck isn't working. I don't want to take time to fiddle with it. So let's go back to the browser. Now, what's the question? Determine the number of hours of sleep that's in the top 25% of that students get per the night before a test. What do you think they mean by the top 25%? Okay, so I'm going to write this down in number 7. What's the top 25% here? Well, top 25%. You know what they're talking about? Students in this top 25%, they're talking about this top portion here, above Q3 to the max. So the top 25% of students, in terms of the sleep they get, is between 6 and what? 9 hours. So we're just reading the box plot, ladies and gentlemen. And so for the top 25%, we can say it's between 6 and 9 hours. This is the amount of sleep they get. So this is the information. Maybe I should have said for 6, the middle 50%. You guys okay with that? In the box plot? So the answers for the middle 50% is between 2 and 6 hours. For the top 25% is between 6 and 9 hours. Just reading the box plot. Because you might want to say, why do we even care about getting that box plot? So we can read the data and information there. So the next question, if you said, well, what's question number 8? Can you guys read question 8? What does 8 say? What do they say? Let's go to the browser. So for question 8, they say, determine the number of hours of sleep for the bottom 75%. Bottom 75%. Bottom 75. So does anybody know, what do you think they mean by that? Yeah, everybody except the what? The top 25. They're talking about this portion right in here. Because 25 and 25 and 25, doesn't this give you that 75? Okay, you guys see what I'm saying? So that's what's referred to as the bottom 75%. And that's the hours of between 0 and 6 hours. So for that answer, students get between 0 and 6 hours here. So that's what we're going to say. So we're going to say here for the bottom 75%, it's between 0 and 6. Just how to read this. So here's my answers. Okay, for the bottom 75%. Because 25, 25, 25 gives you 75. That's to the left. So this is describing our distribution of data. Okay? Describing the distribution as a box plot. That's why you draw that box plot picture. So number 9, does anybody know what number 9 says? They're talking now the top what? The top 75%. You go, what do you mean that top? The top. So let me go back and read to convince you guys for number 9. Oh, determine the number of hours of sleep in the top 75%. What do you think they mean top 75 now? Yeah, what do you think they mean by that top 75? You guys know what they mean? It's everything here, right? It's the 25, 25, 25, 25 on the right side. So you're trying to describe the hours of sleep the top 75% of the class gets. And what would you guys say? Between 2 and what? 9 hours. Outstanding. Between 2 and 9, okay? So it's the values down there between 2 and 9. So that's how we're going to answer that. So we're kind of looking at how to read this box plot, ladies and gentlemen. So what's the last question? I think I can figure it out. I'm going to say, yeah. So if I said to you guys, let's go back to this picture. This is the top 75%. What do you think they're saying in that last question here? That would be the bottom what? 25% of the data. So for the bottom 25% of the data, that's for the data values between 0 and what? And 2. So this is the bottom 25. It's in red. So you might say, okay, the bottom 25% of your data consists of the data values that are really between 0 and what? 2 hours. And I'll put that in red just to illustrate, the correlation between the picture of the box plot here and what they are asking you. So again, the key is to know about the definition of the 5-number summary, Q1, Q2, Q3. Those are quartiles. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And so what I did for you guys this morning is I did this worksheet, put it in Canvas, and wanted to review and give you more information in how to read this. Okay? What do you guys think? Is that pretty easy? Easy breezy lemon squeezy? Okay, now if I go back to the browser, I can now share and say, hey, in the browser now, wrong application, go back to the browser, and in the browser I have another set of data. What are they asking you here? Anybody know? Is it the same question? Are you sure? What does it say? The following data reveals the number of pets students have at home. It's a pet question. I don't know. So maybe later we'll do this one, or maybe not, or maybe have you guys do it at home. What do you guys think? Yeah, I'm going to think about that one. So anyway, this is now the pets question. How many pets do you have? We could look at the distribution. So as you guys can see, yes, you gather data, and we can organize data. This is called the 5-number summary, and this is called the box plot, and this is how we can start to look at this data and, you know, the picture. And the picture is worth 1,000 words. So anyway, this is what I wanted to warm up today. But today is another great day in that we get to also start talking about one of my all-time favorite topics. All of it's my favorite. It's called probability, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to write down that word. Or should we do the next one? Should we have you guys do the next one before we do probability? Yeah, do it for homework. Good job. It's the best answer. Well, now you guys know how to do it. How many times have you seen it? You say, Mr. Judge, I got to see things again. Well, that's why I create the video. Okay, that's why you guys have these videos. All right. Well, this morning we started talking about this thing called probability.